It's the most wonderful time of the year. Or is it?
The holidays can be a confusing and complicated time for mid-singles. In an intact family, we often have joyful memories of the holidays. It's a time to renew acquaintances with our loved ones. For a divorced person, I'll never forget the first Christmas I spent without my kids. It was hard. My well-meaning mother was pushing me toward going to my sister's house to spend Christmas morning with her and her husband and her kids, along with my dad and mother. But I confess, I was a little bit anxious about being the old divorced uncle that everybody needed to be nice to on Christmas because he didn't have his kids with him. I wanted to do something unconventional, like go skiing or sit around all day in my pajamas watching Christmas movies. I didn't want to feel like I was the third wheel at somebody else's celebration.
I was different. I wanted someplace to be. I wanted somewhere to go. I wanted people to be with, and I wanted it to be a special holiday, even if I didn't have my children. So everyone's different this way.
Right, and I'm not suggesting that my way is the best way, and Kathy's not suggesting that her way is the best way. We're simply saying, if you feel like Christmas isn't the undiluted joy that it might be if you had an intact family, if you're dealing with grief, realize it's your grief. You get to deal with it in whatever way you want. I was amazed. I made a Facebook post on this more than a couple of years ago now, and so many people chimed in saying that they thought maybe they were the only one who felt that way, who wanted to be alone on Christmas because spending it with someone else's kids didn't really make up for not having my own kids.
The holidays felt a little bit emptier when my children weren't with me. But I tried not to take for granted when I did have them. And I made those moments special. And then I took the opportunity to make special holidays for myself when they weren't with me, and did the best I could to not be more upset about it than I needed to be.
Do what makes sense to you to help you through your grief. That includes during all of the lead up to Christmas too, not just on the day. If you feel like going to parties and dinners, then do it. If you don't feel in a festive mood because of recent happenings in your life, you're under no obligation to do it just to please other people or to show other people that you're doing okay.
We definitely encourage everyone to do what's best for themselves, especially if your divorce is fairly new or recent and you're grieving. It's important for you to do what's good for your health and mental well-being rather than pushing yourself to do what others want you to do.
And don't be afraid to ask for what you want.
We are big fans of those who choose to reach out and ask for support that they need. Whether you're divorced, widowed, single, and not yet married, it is your right and it is your privilege to reach out and create your own support system, your own family of your own choosing. And we are amazed at how many people showed up in our life when we chose to reach out and create support for ourselves.
Kathy, I remember one Christmas when I was a mid-single, there were a number of other mid-singles that I knew had young children. Some of them were former dating partners, and I knew that many of them didn't really have the money to do a lot for their children for Christmas. In point of fact, I didn't have a lot of money for that either, but I found inexpensive gifts. And I spent Christmas Eve, actually a couple of different years, going around and visiting many of these friends and connections and delivering Christmas gifts to them and their children. And it was a great excuse to see a lot of friends, to wish them Merry Christmas, and also to bring a little bit of extra holiday cheer into their lives. And so I recommend finding ways to serve as well can be great. I know one mid-single friend of mine, always, when he didn't have his kids, he always went and worked at a soup kitchen on Christmas.
I was always impressed when I heard of other singles doing that kind of thing. even people who were fairly newly divorced, but they didn't have their children and they chose to do something productive like that. And I think it makes us feel better when we serve others, and it helps us realize the blessings we do still have, even if we've loved and we've lost.
Another important thing to remember is that there is no one right or perfect way to celebrate Christmas. We may have traditions that are very strong and very deeply ingrained. But last Christmas, Cathy and I didn't have our young children with us. And so we chose to drive an hour south to meet up with my parents and my grown son and his wife for dinner on Christmas Eve. And then we spent the night at the Marriott Hotel. And because of COVID, there was hardly anyone there. We had the whole spa and swimming pool to ourselves, and the whole place was decked out with Christmas trees and lights, and it was really beautiful.
Almost as if everyone showed up to create that for us.
And so this was not a traditional Christmas for us, but it was really fun. We could celebrate in a way that was not traditional, but still honored the holiday, and we felt joy in.
So get creative and make some merry memories for yourself, even if you don't have your children. And then when you do have your kids, celebrate those times with them.
And you could do these kinds of activities with other mid-singles, even if it's not someone you're dating, to bring a little more holiday cheer and have someone to celebrate with.
Definitely.
Remember that Christmas is about the joy of the season, love of family, love of friends, and you can do that whether you're married or single. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Celebrate Christmas in the best way you can, with as much joy and as little grief as possible.
Remember, any time is a great time for more love in your life, especially self-love during the holidays. Thanks so much for watching LilyTube.